you want to come into Longmont, just make sure that your constitutional rights stop at the edge of Longmont city limits.
A bold move and a strong message.
No, it's not fair. Why do I have to not earn a living, not travel, be impeded, and then at the end, you get my health care? No, that doesn't work that way.
Longmont's mayor warns against seeking medical care in his city hospitals if you're in a county that is not following state COVID guidance.
It's frankly appalling to me.
Tonight, nearby Weld County leaders and the hospitals are responding.
Plus, local businesses are ready to defy orders. The governor says be ready to suffer the consequences.
There's no mystery about what happened there.
An infamous Colorado murder house nobody wants, and not for the obvious reason.
The mortgage company, the lien holder, the state, any of those parties can take action.
Tonight, Denver7 investigates the potential legal ramifications of purchasing the Watts family home, a home that's already a tough sell.
Longmont's mayor has a message for people in neighboring communities. Follow the state's COVID restrictions or you won't get medical care in his city.
In neighboring Weld County, leaders have been vocal about not enforcing the state's new restrictions. And that's not sitting well with Longmont's mayor.
Denver7's Gary Brode found out the mayor wants city hospitals to turn away patients.
Longmont Mayor Brian Bagley is taking drastic steps to keep their hospitals from filling up.
That's all I'm trying to get out there, to put a little pressure on people to say, be good neighbors. We're all in this together. Don't squander your resources expecting to get ours. It's not fair.
Longmont's neighbor to the east is Weld County, where county commissioners have openly stated they will not enforce Governor Polis's COVID restrictions.
We're not enforcing these mandates coming down from the governor. What we're doing is we're putting the power and the authority in the individual.
I am the king of anti-lockdowns. I have gone on record. I've been chastised nationally for some of my comments.
I want someone to come over and spit in my mouth so I can go get in the hospital now, because I'm not going to die.
8 months later, the mayor has slightly changed his tune.
I do not want to be locked down. I want my business to be at 100% capacity. I want to go out and have dinner with my family. Unfortunately, I can't. We are all doing everything we can to keep our hospitals from reaching capacity. Weld County is doing nothing.
Bagley says hospital beds in his city are being taken up by those living in Weld County, many not following the rules.
I'm not saying we stop offering health care to Weld County citizens. I'm simply saying when the time comes that there's not a bed, when the time comes that there's not a physician, we're going to have to make a decision. And I think that decision needs to be made based on, well, did this municipality or county do anything to save their resources? Or did they squander that opportunity?
Bagley is calling on Longmont City Council to discuss an ordinance potentially restricting hospital beds to those who live in any municipality not complying with state guidelines. Weld County Commissioner Kevin Ross reminds us for some in Weld County, Longmont is by far their closest option.
Because not everyone utilizes the two hospitals inside of Greeley. When you live on the western side of the county, down south, those residents, because we have a commissioner that lives down there, are going to utilize those hospitals that are closest to them.
Ross does not believe the mayor's proposal is legal, and neither does the mayor.
Is this legal? I don't know. Probably not, to tell you the truth. But by the time this hits the courts, should this pass, right? Should this pass, COVID will be over.
We reached out to the two Longmont hospitals. Centura Health tells Denver7 in part, we care for all patients who need health care, and that care is not determined based on geography, ability to pay, gender, race, medical condition, or citizenship. We hope to be able to continue to do this, and we will monitor the mayor's request to City Council. UC Health deferred comment to the Colorado Hospital Association, who reminds us of federal law that requires anyone coming to an emergency department be stabilized and treated. Gary Brode, Denver7.
An emotional plea from restaurant owners in Castle Rock tonight. They say they need indoor dining to survive. And tonight, the town held a special meeting to hear from constituents as they approve a resolution to oppose the state's decision to move Douglas County into that new red zone. Restaurant owners pointed out that few outbreaks in Dougco are linked to restaurants. Now, owners fear this will lead to layoffs or even permanent closure. The resolution formally states Castle Rock will not enforce the rules. The health department enforces the restrictions, and Tri-County Health isn't messing around. In fact, 5 Douglas County restaurants have already been shut down for continuing indoor dining against orders. 3 were in Castle Rock, 2 in Parker.
And in Larimer County, which went into the red zone just 5 hours ago, restaurants in Loveland are vowing not to comply with the new order. Dozens of business owners don't think the decision to move into the red zone makes sense. So We checked the numbers, and the Larimer County Health Department says they are currently seeing a 12.1% positivity rate, just under the state's 12.3% positivity rate. Still, business owners say it's their constitutional right to keep their business alive.
Each of these businesses have families that they require to make money so they can live. And they have every right to that.
No matter which county you're in, Governor Jared Polis said today any business that chooses not to abide by the state's order could lose their license. And
the governor's adamant that the restrictions he is implementing will help reduce cases and take a load off our hospitals in the next few weeks. Now, as we approach Thanksgiving, state health leaders are pleading with all of us, have our turkey feast only with those in our households. Now is the time to be cautious, they say, avoid gatherings, and of course wear that mask. And the numbers show it. Look at this. Even more Coloradans are contagious with the virus than we've ever seen. More than 4,100 Coloradans tested positive in the last 24 hours, and we have now surpassed 206,000 cases. Check on the hospitals at this hour. More than 1,700 people are hospitalized either with a suspected or confirmed case of the virus.
It made headlines around the world. Chris Watts murdered his picture-perfect family in Frederick. More than 2 years since the killing of his pregnant wife, Shanann, and two daughters, Bella and Celeste, the home where they lived still sits vacant.
Well, tonight, with renewed interest in the case, we go back to that neighborhood, and Denver7 investigator Jennifer Kovaleski found it's going to be tough to sell the Watts property.
Driving by, it looks like the all-American home. 2 stories, 5 bedrooms, 4,000 square feet. In the cookie-cutter suburbs of Frederick, Colorado.
It's a beautiful home.
But when you know what happened inside, everything changes.
There's no mystery about what happened there.
Bankruptcy attorney Clark Dre says there's no mystery because it horrified the nation.
The neighborhood knows what happened there. Potential buyers know what happened there.
First, breaking new horrific details emerging.
Chris Watts strangled his pregnant wife, Shanann, inside their home after an early morning fight. Chris told her he was having an affair with a coworker and wanted out. The same morning, Chris murdered his 2 daughters, 3-year-old Celeste and 4-year-old Bella. He smothered them and tried to cover it all up.
But you know they're not.
I hope they come back home. And I don't know they're not coming back home.
As Chris lied to investigators, he also went before our cameras begging for his family to return.
Just come back. Like, if somebody has her, just please bring her back.
Chris later confessed to police after failing a polygraph test. He's now serving multiple life sentences. But the fate of 2825 Saratoga Trail sits in legal limbo.
It's a beautiful home. I would hate to see him just take it down.
Neighbors are scarred by what happened. No one wanted to show their face on camera or use their real name. They all told me they didn't want any more attention.
For the neighborhood, it's just kind of difficult.
This woman, who lives right next door, says the recent Netflix documentary spurred new interest in the home, and not the kind anyone here wants.
I think about, like, did I cause this?
But literally hundreds of cars have come by. They're curious. They've been coming from out of state.
They've had so much activity. Neighbors put up no trespassing signs and are urging people not to leave any more memorials on the front porch.
Would ask that people just be respectful.
Today, the house many see as unsellable is deteriorating. The grass is dead, and vacancy notes are plastered to the door.
People come by late at night.
Around back, memories of the family home are frozen in time. The girl's swing set blows in the wind, and a stuffed animal lies in the grass.
There's a fascination with it.
It would be a great home for a traditional family.
But Dre says it's very difficult to overcome the stigma.
Do you think it's fair to say it's an unsellable home?
I think from a legal standpoint, it's very difficult to get that property sold.
Shortly after the murders, the lender that owns the mortgage foreclosed on it and put the house up for auction. But nobody wanted it, so Weld County took it out of foreclosure.
It's a strategic decision that the bank has made. This doesn't have to be our problem. We're okay not getting paid on this property.
The couple bought the house brand new for nearly $400,000 in 2013. According to Zillow.com, it's now valued at close to $600,000.
I think that the property's been mismanaged.
A price real estate appraiser Orel Anderson says is way off base.
Way too high, as if this never occurred.
Anderson says to sell the home, they need to heavily discount it. He's talking a 40% price cut.
You see a pattern that tells you that when they're children involved and they're murdered, the discounts go higher.
On top of that, he says the seller needs to make the house look different, repaint it, change the address, add new plants, anything to wipe away the memories. Memories that are kept alive through photographs and videos in the media.
And that's been exacerbated because it's been vacant for so long.
The mortgage company, the lien holder, the state, any of those parties can take action on the home, and none have felt inclined to do so.
Several creditors have also placed liens on the home. The largest comes from Shanann's parents. They have a $6 million lien on the house after they won a wrongful death suit against Chris Watts.
It would make it very difficult to sell the home at a reasonable price.
Dre says for it to make sense, a buyer will have to make a deal with the lien holders and have enough money to cover the original mortgage.
Who would want to start their life in that house?
Michelle Pate lives close by and would like to see the house torn down.
Maybe made a little park out of it or something.
While next door neighbors are hoping for new energy and a new beginning for a home with a story that shocked the world.
Once enough time has gone by, I think probably just another family will move in.
I'm Denver7 investigator Jennifer Kowaleski.
And now, nearly 4 months later, and still no answers to this case. Who set fire to a Green Valley Ranch home, killing a family of immigrants from Senegal? Today, the Colorado chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations announced they're offering a $10,000 reward for information. That is in addition to the $40,000 already being offered through Crime Stoppers. And there are few leads. All we know is these 3 people you see there on the screen wearing masks and hoodies are responsible. So if you know anything, please call police.
I typically spend about $200 to $300. You know, a turkey, a ham, all the fixings, tons of desserts.
This year is different.
I was sitting there kind of sad I wasn't going to have the girls for Thanksgiving.
Now that this Colorado mother doesn't have to feed the entire family this year, she's putting her money elsewhere.
If somebody could just, bring up $15, $20 to share and help a family, that would be great.
A random act of kindness that now has an entire community making sure everyone in need has a warm meal this Thanksgiving.
After the snow comes a cold one tonight. Coming up, your Thanksgiving forecast.